Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. And those people who strive in our ways, we direct them to our paths. Here, Siratul Mustaqim is a singular, one straight path. And there, Allah says, we direct them to our paths. This requires explanation and reconciliation. Again, of course, in the story of creation of Adam and the descent of Iblis and his protest, we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after Iblis vows to misguide the children of Adam, Allah says, Hada siratun alayya mustaqim. This is a path to me, a straight one. What is a straight path, and what are all these different ways that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about? Allama Tabatabai expresses this in his Tafsir al-Mizan, and this is an existential exegy of the verse. Although he does not use the word evolution or existential, it is actually an evolutionary existential exegesis of the verse. And as we go along in these small sort of podcasts of exegesis of the verses of the Quran, we will explain existentialism in this respect and evolutionary growth motion. You see, the only truth of our life is motion towards completion and growth. This is what we term as evolution. This is what we term as our fundamental existential facet or property. We are always growing. To sincerely grow inwardly is to then having an inward growth resembling the outward physical growth. So in the physical world, we are always completing our beings, from a fetus to child, child to a grown person, from a grown person to a very intellectual, from intellectual to a moral, moral to a spiritual person. So we are seeing that together with our physical growth and evolution, we are in a state of intellectual growth. We are exploring the world. We are learning about the world. We are dispelling ignorance through knowledge. Together with intellectual growth, we are growing morally as well. With the passage of time, humankind is able to put aside biases that are born through distinction on the basis of color, gender, status, race, clan, and even distinctions that are brought about through religion that yield to biases. With our growth and passage of time as individuals and as a human community, we are able to put those distinctions and biases to one side as we grow morally. And as we grow spiritually, as individuals and as a human community, we find that we're becoming more and more confident in ourselves, more wanting to complete our human journeys. We are becoming more charitable, more caring, more loving, more altruistic, more surrendered to Allah, and that is spiritual growth and spiritual evolution. So when we say to Allah, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, the sirat al-mustaqim has a befitting expression at every level of our existence, whether it be the individual existence or the collective existence. Let us explain this. The Siratul Mustaqim for a child is very different from the Siratul Mustaqim for a grown man. What was right for me 40 years ago may be frowned upon at this point in time. 40 years ago, for me, competition was healthy. At this point in time, competition in the worldly sense is not healthy for me at all. I am expected to not to compete in the worldly sense, but to give away, rather to compete at a moral level or a spiritual level. So what was right for me at the age of 10 is no longer right for me at this age. Let us say when I implored Allah at the spiritual level at the age of 16 and I said, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabb in Dua Kumail, my sentiment was for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me A stars at the level of my exams at GCSEs. At this point in time, when I raise my hands and say, Ya Rabbi, the intensity of this plea should be so deep that the throne of God moves with me. And here I accept that, oh Lord, even if you give me failure, it's fine, because you know that the ultimate test is for me to be fine in every state and to rely upon you, to not to be moved from my state of inner peace and stability with you, whether it comes through defeat or victory, pass mark or failures. So Siratul Mustaqim in an existential evolutionary scheme is something that is always in line with our level of growth and promoting greater growth towards our completion, towards our flowering, towards our potential becoming actualized. So when we are saying to Allah, Ihdina Siratul Mustaqim, what we are saying is, oh Lord, I will be very sincere and surrendered to you. And I will seek to find you in the best possible manner and give myself away to you. Guide me, whatever is the right thing to do at every right moment for me to grow. So what Siratul Mustaqim then requires is a state of sincerity from me, in which I am not stifled at an intellectual level, moral or spiritual level, a level in which I become fluid. When I become fluid, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes me by the hand and guides me to different paths that constitute one Sirat al-Mustaqim. So, in education, He guides me to a path which opens my mind. In economics, He guides me to a path in which there is a sharing, concerned individual who is not overly greedy to amass wealth, but who wants to distribute wealth and increase the wealth of the whole community. In terms of religion, He will guide me to a path in which my religion liberates me as opposed to restricts me. In morality, He will lead me down a path where color, gender distinctions do not stop me from doing that which is just and right for others beyond their determinations and distinctions. It will prompt me to be charitable to one and all. So Sirat al-Mustaqim is composed of many small paths in different walks of life at different times coming together and assisting me to complete my journey towards godliness. And all of these little paths that come together, some right for some time and some place, others right for another time, another place, they assist me in becoming godly. And that is the existential and evolutionary understanding of Sirat al-Mustaqim.